Hello everyone, this is Nick Lawson with cdc-takecharge software, and this is lesson 13 on how to build a more robust and user-friendly contact management application in Alpha software. Today what we're going to discuss is controlling data entry for the user and the forms and tools in Alpha software that allow you to do that. First, under our contact application, we've added a form company setup and contacts by company. Let's look at those two forms. Under company setup, when it pops up, since the expectation is you're entering a new company, it automatically goes into new record mode and blanks the screen, allowing you to fill it out. Now, when they enter through the values in the field, they progress in an order that the user would expect. That's an important control, and it's called tab order. We'll look at that in a minute. The other feature that's in Alpha software is that when you're doing the data entry, when they get to the end, they can hold down the control key and hit enter, and it'll automatically save the entry they just did and start another new blank record so that they don't have to exit and go back in or click a button to enter another record. So let's go ahead and look at our next form. Now, once you have your company, we want to take and group our contacts by company. In the form, under the company I have set up, we have two contacts. On this form, I can actually go right to the company setup form again, save it, and I can add new contacts to my company down here, or I can edit contacts, or I can look at contact history. So let's choose Nick and look at contact history. And when I click the button, it automatically finds me in the progressive lookup and then displays my company information, my activities, my memos. I can open my memo manager and make changes, send it out as an email. I can look at my contact methods and find phone numbers, edit my phone numbers, find media or social network lists for the contact, edit those, open a media page, open an email writer. Anything that I could do from the form, from the normal entry to the form, can be done as a lookup on that form. Now, that's all pretty simple, pretty straightforward. One of the things that we want to be able to take in control, because a big part of that entry when you're doing addresses is your zip code and the state. If we can do that as a lookup, it'll save a lot of data entry. So let's look at how that's done on these forms. Go to our control panel. Now first, let's start with the company information and the tab order method. Here, under the main menu, under Arrange, you have Set Tab Order. You have two options, Set Tab Order by Example and by Table. If you look at Table, it lists all the objects and allows you to select them and then move them up and down the list to the position you want them in. Once you do that, you apply it and close it, and it's done. An even easier method is using the by example. When you set that, it takes and numbers the objects in the order that they were put on the form. All you have to do is click on them in the order that you want them to be, and it rearranges the tab order to be the way the user would expect. Pretty simple and straightforward. The only thing you have to be aware of, though, is that when you drag an object onto a form in Alpha software, it automatically puts it in the tab order setup. So in order to turn that off, you go to Properties, and here's your tab stop. If you set it with a check, it's in the list. If you uncheck it, it's not. And that's important because if you have a button object in the tab order and you don't turn it off and they're entering a record and it hits that button, it's going to execute that code, causing an unexpected behavior which would confuse your user. So now, let's look at our contact form with from company, form 1, contacts by company. Here, we're able to set up a new company, as I said, so that just basically clears the form and allows you to do the same thing. Under new contact, it pops up the contact entry form, and fills in the values from the company that you have selected. Since you're adding a contact for a specific company, there's no reason for the user to redo that data entry. It simply uses the values on the screen and completes it for you. If you are editing a contact, you select it in the list, and then you click Edit Contact, and the code on that loads the contact entry form and runs a filter expression query to pull up that record. And we set it to contact equals contact text, which is the object on our contacts by company form. And there you go, that's done. Once you save it and make the changes, it automatically updates in your main form. Delete contact basically works the same way, except it uses another nice feature. Here we take and set a variable, RMBR, and we take and assign it the record number value for our people table, which is the browse. So no matter what record I'm on in the list, we know what the record number for people is. Then we do a delete range, record number equals RMBR, and away the record goes. Very easy way to control that. On the contact history, we do another simple little function to take and reduce the amount of data entry we have to do, or the amount of code writing we have to do. Here we pop up the people CDC form, and once it's activated, we set the value for the search string to the value from our contacts by company contact text. Then we push button 4, which is the search button. Now that button's got over 40 lines of code on it, and rather than having to repeat that code here, by pushing the button, we're doing exactly what needs to be done. All the data is linked, and everything is the way you expect it to be. Very easy way to take and control that process. There you go. That's pretty much everything that we looked at on the forum, so I hope you found this useful and helpful. And thanks a lot, and have a great day.